What's the deal with Mercari?
Yeah, what is the deal? What's the dill?
You're a little too much.
You know what's too much? is
What the fuck is going on
Hold
here?
on. This is too close to the camera. And I kept seeing it.
I mean, can you wait until we're done? Have we figured this out?
No, because I didn't want it to ruin the video, but now it's ruined the video.
We're here to talk about Mercari and all the changes. And the changes may seem good, but from what we understand, they're bad.
Don't say that yet.
They may be good and they may be bad.
I think they're a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Were you mocking me?
No.
Fuck yourself.
So what's Mercari, you might ask? Well, it's the red-headed stepchild brother of eBay.
Actually, I prefer Mercari over eBay.
Not everybody knows what Mercari is. I've mentioned Mercari before, and people are like, what is Mercari? And then I say,
yeah, like 10 years ago.
It is the red-headed stepchild brother of eBay. That's what I always
said.
said
That. And first of all, redheads are rare, therefore more collectible. That sounds weird.
Name me one redheaded person that is like a normal person.
Emma Stone.
Emma Stone isn't normal. Come on, Heather.
Yes, she is.
Don't be ridiculous.
And she's beautiful.
Give me another name. I don't even think she's really redheaded.
Deborah Messing.
Name somebody real, okay?
She is real. She's from Will and Grace.
It sounds like you just typed in something on AI.
She's from Will and Grace.
Okay, instead of using your chat GPT to figure out names of people that are redheaded.
I'm sitting right here.
Just give me a redheaded person's name.
I did. I gave you two.
I need another one. I need one that's real.
And that's assuming Emma Stone's even a redhead.
Okay, the Weasley guy, Ron Weasley.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
No, he's not.
Chucky from Child's Play, also kind of weird.
That's fake, and so is Ron Weasley. His name's Rupert.
They're both redheads, and they're both weird.
You're so rude.
Chucky from Rugrats. Weird.
He's a cartoon.
Doesn't matter.
And he's the best one of them all.
But he's weird. All redheads are weird.
No, he's not.
Hashtag redheads are weird in the comments below.
You want to know why Tommy's so weird? Because he keeps a screwdriver in his diaper.
Why'd you look down?
I'm wondering if you have a screwdriver in your diaper.
That was a weird reaction. What I didn't know is that Mercari is a Japanese company. Did you know that?
I had no idea.
Yep. Found that out today, doing all my research, which my research went a full, you're not going to believe this, a full 2 minutes. I know. I was very proud of myself. I actually read something today.
Did you find your information on Wikipedia because you know anybody can answer
Kirsten Dunst. She's also a weird redhead.
Is she a redhead?
Well, she is. At least she was Mary Jane Parker, I don't know, or Mary Jane in the film, in the Spider-Man film.
I don't think I feel like she's blonde.
The only way to find out is have them pull down their pants and see if they have a fire crotch. That's the only way to know.
Because that is not always the case. Carpet doesn't always match the drapes. I got confused.
Let's talk about Mercari. Heather, you're wasting my time with all of your bullshit.
Okay, so the major changes, the selling and, well, not selling.
Oh, for Christ's sake, what are you doing?
I need to make sure
hold on.
that
The reason why we're talking about this is because people use Mercari to buy, sell, and trade a lot of collectibles, to include Funko Pops, which is what we talk about here a lot. I've even purchased Hot Toys on Mercari before. But now, with all these new changes, the seller could be screwed. It doesn't look good.
Oh, the buyer's screwed too!
A little bit.
As a buyer, you used to be able to go in, buy your thing, pay your taxes and your shipping if applicable, and then you check out. Well, now they have passed on the fees from the seller to the buyer. So you're now, as a buyer, charged a payment processing fee, which as of right now is 50 cents plus 2.9% of the item price, delivery costs, service fee, and tax. And you're passed on the service fee. All it says is service fee may vary. It helps us improve Mercari's features in your experience. And I'm an idiot. I didn't do my research on exactly what the service fee is determined by.
No more selling fees. Zero. Only at Mercari. And no, it's not just a promo.
Right, but what's the service fee? Okay, so it says while the buyer's service fee can be as low as 5%, it will be based on factors like brand, item category, and other specifics around the transaction. So it's not giving me, from what I'm reading, and this is just very quick because I want to just do my research quickly, get it in this video. There's not like it can be 5% or it can be up to like 500%. It just says it can be low as 5%, and it depends upon the brand, and item category and other specifics around the transaction. But then this other one, which is false, this other article says the minimum fee you'll pay is the 10% transaction fee. Oh, that was whenever you make a sale. Okay, so before it was 10% flat.
Yes.
Across the board. Now it's 5% and up depending on the brand and category of item it falls into, as well as other factors.
So if I click this buy now.
So you place a $70 item in your cart. It is $0 shipping. The service fee is $4.20, which is just above 5%. And the processing fee would be the 2.9 plus 50 cents, which is $2.78, plus Maryland state tax, which is $4.46, which turns into $81.44. Now, if this were before, when the seller took on the fees, this would be $74.46. So you're spending a little bit over, or no, it looks like just under $7. If you go to like retail store or whatever, they charge based off of the card. So if you have a Visa or MasterCard, generally they're lower than Amex. Typically there's like a range. It'll be like, oh, well, some Visas might be as low as X%, where some Visas may be higher, MasterCard maybe this rate to this rate. It just all depends. So they're doing sort of a flat rate across the board as far as the processing fee goes, which is nice.
Is this like better than before or worse than before?
So,
talking just about this part of it.
As a buyer,
You're getting slammed with fees.
you are, however, a lot of sellers on Mercari would bump their prices to sort of take care of the fees. Now, as a seller, you can list a little bit lower, so realistically, the buyer might be paying roughly the same amount as they would be before, except now they're seeing the fees spelled out.
Oh, I see. So it isn't quite as bad.
Yeah, well, it depends on the seller too, though, because before a seller might say, oh, this is X amount on PPG, I'm just going to charge that. And they would just charge that, they'd get hit with the service fee, and that would be it. But then some sellers would say, oh, this is X dollars on PPG, I'm going to include the service fee. So for example, if seller A had a $50 item, they might list it at $50 plus shipping. Seller B might list it as $50 plus 10%, which is $5, so $55 plus shipping. So that they could make up for the 10% that they're paying Mercari. All of these fees, whether they're good or bad, depends on the sellers.
So the power is all in the seller's hands.
Yeah, and I really, it's hard to gauge, but I think the more time goes on, the more we'll see, like, is this a good or bad thing?
Well, there is something that's very bad about this change.
Buyers can now return for any reason at all.
Do we know what the implications to that?
There's no rules. It's they can return it for any reason.
So according to Mercari, you can return for any reason. This says how returns work. Once an order has been placed on Mercari, you have 3 days to ship the item to the buyer. Once they receive the item, the buyer has 3 calendar days to request a return. The buyer will inform us why they're returning the item. They have 3 days to ship the item back to you. Upon receiving the item back, the buyer will be refunded. So why are you having to tell them why you're returning the item if you can return for any reason?
I think just to notate it, maybe to ensure that sellers aren't making a habit of selling defective merchandise or broken stuff.
Or buyers are doing it too often. And I wonder if there's going to be something that happens to a buyer if they return far too many times, because that's what Amazon does to you.
Yeah, or a seller.
So according to Google, I don't know how accurate this is. This is as of May 15, 2023. We're talking about Amazon now. If Amazon determines that you have high rate of returns or if you are providing a poor customer experience, they may take action to ban or restrict your account. So I think it's up to them as to what they do. So in other words, if you buy stuff so often and you're constantly returning, they have the option to go ahead and say, we're going to ban you. Now, looking around and doing my quick Google search, I found a Reddit where people were going back and forth about this, and one dude's like, I return stuff all the time, and I have never been banned.
Same.
So it's hard to say. I know I've returned stuff in the past also, but there has been legitimate reasons. Now, your reason is that you were trying to order a Taylor Swift signed CD.
Yeah.
And you ordered 520 of them.
It was 8.
And you there was more than that.
It was 8.
No.
It was
there
8.
more.
Swear to God, it was 8.
Whoa, you don't have to swear like that. Jeez, that was very quick.
I swear on your life, it was great. 8. It was not great because I didn't get a signed one, but it was 8.
Well, you did get a signed one.
Yeah, for my birthday from you.
You didn't tell anybody about it.
He's very proud of it.
You hugged me and you cried.
I did cry.
You hugged me and cried when you got that gift.
I cried a lot.
I know you did.
Like, I wiped my tears and my snot on your jacket.
That was not the thank you I was looking for. So, Mercari is now allowing you to return for any reason. Now, what does that mean for a Mercari seller? It can mean really bad things. It means that if you buy a Funko Pop, and today's PPG value is $55 and you bought it for $55, and then tomorrow the PPG drops down to $40, now you can just go ahead and return that Funko Pop.
Yep.
I mean, I know that sounds ridiculous, but there are people out there who are like that
Absolutely.
will do stuff like that, and that will basically there will be an influx of
Yes.
people doing stupid shit like this.
This is a mess.
Because it used to be that you had to have a legitimate reason to return.
Yeah, like...
You don't have to have that anymore. You can just, fuck it. I decided that I no longer wanted the Freddy Funko as whatever character today, Spider-Man. So I paid my $300, $400 for the thing, and I decided when it arrived, it's in good condition, but I don't want it anymore. I'm just going to send it back.
Well, people used to try to return things all the time, and they couldn't. For example, sellers were very well protected. So one thing that would happen, people either wouldn't read the description or they wouldn't look at all of the photos thoroughly, and they would find, since we are a Funko channel, we'll talk about Funko Pops. So they would find a Funko Pop that they really wanted for a very good price, but they wouldn't swipe to see that the reason for the good price is there's a big old rip down the back.
Right.
They would ask Mercari for a return, and they would state the reason saying, oh, there's a rip in the back. Well, Mercari would look at the pictures and say, well, it's in the picture, so sorry, you're shit out of luck. So now the buyer doesn't have any responsibility to do what they're supposed to do as a buyer and do their research on what they're buying. In turn, it's wasting sellers' time and...
Waste everybody's time.
Yeah, it's stupid.
That's trash.
And resources.
Yeah, but can you imagine the amount of returns that's going to happen now?
It's going to be insane. I
Like
don't
a ridiculous
like it.
amount. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah, so I do hope that they implement ramifications for sellers who this continuously happens with.
Well,
maybe
that's
if
the
they're
point that
hiding
I'm
damage
making,
and
yeah.
stuff. And buyers if they return way too frequently for stupid reasons.
Yeah, obviously there has to be some sort of rules in place. It can't just be across the board. You can return for any reason. It doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, that's weird.
That just can't happen. There has to be something behind it. And I'm sure that the stating your reason has something to do with all of that. But I don't know that for sure. I'm literally just reading off their website the feel-good stuff that they tell you. It's like, here, feel good because Mercari's changing, and this is why it's good for you, without actually reading the small miniature text.
Yeah, so I don't know how I feel about this yet. As a seller, it freaks me out. And as a buyer, it freaks me out. So one thing I don't really feel like we made super clear is that the selling fee, the 10% selling fee, is what that service fee is on the buyer. So the seller doesn't pay anything to use Mercari.
Right.
They basically just make their money. It's passed on to the buyer.
So a seller would now have to recognize that the buyer's going to have all these fees. So they're going to have to ask for lower, or they're going to have to give you like a little bit of leeway, right?
I can imagine so.
Right, because that's what this person in this wonderful article actually talks about, is that in the past, when somebody would say, can you drop the price a little bit, they would say, well, I'm including shipping in this. And I'm also paying for fees. Yeah. So they were able to get away with that a lot because they're like, look, I've already met you in the middle. There's no haggling here. Well, now this gives haggling room. Now we know that the seller has no more fees, so the person's like, well, I'm buying from you, I'm offering you this price, it should work because you're not have to pay anything, I'm paying everything.
Yeah.
There's a lot more haggling going on.
This is like a flea market now.
Finally, he says, there is now a flat fee of $2 per cash out to a checking account. Folks who use PayPal or Cash App are already familiar with something like this. Mercari used to only charge that fee if the withdrawal was under a certain amount, not anymore.
Interesting.
To align with these changes, Mercari is giving seller the option to adjust their prices in one foul swoop to account for the removed selling fee. When I opened the app, I was asked if I wanted them to do it or if I wanted to do it manually. I guess they're operating under the assumption that all items are priced 10% higher to account for the previously charged selling fee, and they're just automatically dropping your prices by 10% to entice more buyers? Question mark.
See, I didn't get that at all. So here's something that I did. I went and I found an older listing on Mercari and I added it to my bag.
Older listings are not affected.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, my point is, I have stuff actively listed on Mercari right now.
From before.
Yes, and it didn't prompt me. Oh, so it says that I can lower my prices. This is weird though. So if I lower my prices, does that mean that the fees get put on the buyer automatically?
Yes. You're able to choose right now what you want to do. So you either go to their new ways, or it's up to you to put in the pricing knowing that you have the fees associated to you. So this person who wrote this really great article says now they're going back to eBay. They're done with Mercari now after all these changes. And I wonder how many people are going to do exactly the same thing.
Well, a lot of people list on both Mercari and eBay.
They do, but Mercari had, what was like a 10%? Mm-hmm. And then eBay was like a percentage, like between like, I think he said 5% and like 12%.
I think it's 6
like
and 15.
Maybe that's what it is. And so it can like kind of fluctuate.
Similar to Mercari's buyer's fees now, the service fee that they're charging to the buyers. It depends on what it is and what brand and everything.
So why is Mercari doing this, we think?
I don't know.
So I personally think, and I'm not trying to be mean or shitty to anybody, but I think it's to lure in stupid people who aren't paying attention to what those new changes are bringing. That's what I think.
I mean, they're advertising it so heavily, though.
Well, of course they are, because it looks really good. But based off of what we're reading in this person's article, based off of what we know by reading from, sales, like things that we're seeing, all these added fees and everything else, we see it like for what it really is. But based off the Mercari website, which I just showed you, like all the pretty language there, stupid people who don't read between the lines, like me, you're the one that does all your research. You figure things out. You know what you're doing. Me, the dummy, I go on and just buy stuff. I don't pay attention to all the fees. If I want it, I buy it. But you're like, well, I want to get a good deal.
Well, yeah, because I'm cheap.
Because you like to get a good deal, and that's a good thing about you.
Guess what?
I mean, I'm just a big old dummy.
Guess what? You are a big old dummy, but guess what? I went to Books A Million today, and they had a Loungefly that I wanted, and instead of walking into the store and paying full price, guess what I did? I got 15% off for signing up for their emails, and I ordered to pick it up in the store.
Wow, good for you.
So I saved 15%.
Look at that. That's exactly what I'm talking about. See, I wouldn't have done that. I would have just bought the bag.
Yeah, because you're dumb.
That's right. And so that's what Mercari is doing, I think. I think they're luring people in to use their app.
Not me.
Mercari wants to become bigger than they are today. So eBay is a giant. Mercari is still like that little redheaded stepchild brother.
Still doing the redheaded
to
stuff.
eBay, and they want to become as big as eBay. They're having to employ some new tactics here, and that's what they've done. And so I think that's what's going on. I think there's going to be a lot of heartache. I think there's going to be a lot of turmoil with people trying, especially sellers, trying to sell their product on there, and then the person saying, you didn't say the magic word, When PPG sales are fluctuating, and people get their Funko Pop like 3 days later, and they realize, oh shit, I can buy it for cheaper now. That's when the returns start happening, and things are going to get ugly. It's going to turn into a big old poop bath. Not a blood bath. It's going to be a lot of shit.
You're ignoring something. Big. Huge. So you're talking about how the PPG is going to go down? It's not going to be based off of PPG going down for like an innocent reason. It's going to be that it was $50 on PPG, but Funko.com restocked it.
That's the big change to Mercari, and I don't know if it's going to be horrible bad or if it's just going to be a little bit bad, but I think over the next couple months we're going to figure that out.
Yeah, and I'd be really interested in hearing your guys' feedback, whether you buy or sell on Mercari. I think it's good to know, like, what people are thinking.
It's good to know. It's good to know, but I think that overall this is not a good thing. But yeah, we want to hear your thoughts and more in the comment section down below. When you give somebody a free pass to just return anything,
that's scary.
You are giving them a free pass to order multiple Taylor Swift CDs.
Yeah.
In hopes that they're getting a signed one, and when they don't, they're returning them all back to you. You know, I heard bad things about Amazon, where when you return stuff back, some of the time, I think it even might be most of the time, the stuff doesn't even like go back on the shelf. It gets thrown away. Like stuff just gets dumped.
They didn't.
They just dump it out. So all of your Taylor Swift CDs, out the door. You ain't no Swiftie, I'll tell you that.
That's not good.
You just threw your girl's CDs all away in the dumpster.
I threw them in the dumpster?
You threw them in the dumpster, that's right. In every video, we like to shout out to some of our patrons on Patreon. In this video, we'd like to shout out to Susan Amundsen, Tim Leverow, Gustavo Quintero, Ronaldo Gomez, Funko Freak, Chris Bilbrey, Timon M, Tanya R. LaFond, Nathan Heckman, and Robert Williams. Thank you guys so much for your continued support. We would really appreciate if you hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that little bell. That way, anytime we post new content or go live, you will be notified. So make sure you hit that as hard as you can. Just don't break that keyboard. Check out our Patreon at patreon.com/Gastlecast and find out all the ways that you can support this channel. We do a live Google Meet chat every single month. It's a blast. It's a big old party. Bring your snacks, bring your drinks, and bring your questions, and bring your looking eyes and hearing ears, because we do all sorts of stuff there. Don't miss out. And check out our designer toy company, MISCHIEFtoys.com. We're going to have something up on the website very, very soon. So keep your eyes peeled and follow us at Mischief Toys on Instagram. And check out 7buckspop.com this Saturday, March 30th at 3 p.m. Eastern. They're going to have a Scream signature series. They're going to be ghost-faced, handmade by robot figures, signed by Matthew Lillard, Jamie Kennedy, and Skeet Ulrich.
And there are 20 pieces that are signed by all three.
How amazing is that? Check out 7bucksapop.com to get yours this Saturday, March 30th at 3 p.m. Eastern. Thank you so much for staying until the end of the video. We appreciate all of your love and support. You are amazing. We will see you in the next one.
Bye.